Hey, so it's been a while since we updated about our life. Um, Last time we made a video, we talked about what led us from Southern Illinois to hopping in an RV with our three kids
Yeah.
and moving to Nashville, Tennessee. Um, so I'm not going to go any over that because we did that in the other video, and we were in Nashville for 6 months, which we knew it would be a temporary
Yeah.
stay. Um, where we went after that, we ended up in North Carolina for, what was it, 6 or 7 months?
I think it was about 7 months.
About 7 months. Um, so why North Carolina? Um, it was mostly because of a dream I'd had where in the dream I got really excited about a ministry that was in North Carolina. And they invited me to come be a part of their ministry and in the dream. And in the dream, I started wearing North Carolina clothes, and Sean called me a Tar Heel. Um, and so that was most of the dream. Uh, Me and Sean have both had dreams involving Curry Blake and John G. Lake Ministries in the past. And last year, Curry Blake held a DHT, a Divine Healing Technician training in Lake Junaluska, North Carolina. Now, this was very close to where we've been praying about moving
Yeah.
um, if we were to go to North Carolina. Um, and so something opened up, and we ended up moving in the RV to North Carolina and actually had our address in Lake Junaluska, where the DHT had been.
I've had a dream with Leah of getting an impartation from Curry Blake, one
Yeah,
of my youngest sons.
so we've had dreams about that ministry before, and we got involved with a local life team, which is what they kind of call their groups, um,
Home groups and
home
types.
groups. Yeah, and so that's what led us to North Carolina. Now, when we got there, we had an idea of what was going to happen, and we thought we were going to kind of settle down there and build something there.
Or, yeah, possibly buy a place.
Buy a place, start a home group of our own, a life team there. Unfortunately, for us at the time, because we didn't understand what was exactly was supposed to happen there, nothing was working out. It was one giant closed door after another, one
Yeah.
closed door after
Yeah.
another. When we went to get, go to local churches or anything like that, we couldn't find what we were used to, what we were looking for. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
it just felt really like what we would call wilderness season, I think.
Oh, yeah, it was definitely a wilderness season. 3 kids in an RV for 13 months. Um,
In the winter was the hard part because they couldn't
it,
go outside and play.
yeah, it was tough. But we're stronger
Oh,
because
yeah.
of it. And we have more patience.
Yes. We're definitely in what I would call a wiser, deeper place than we were a year ago of just
Absolutely.
trusting in the Lord, which is what our whole ministry name is about, the Lilies and Sparrows. Um, and God did use that time there. It wasn't
Oh yeah, there was
so many testimonies.
so many
So
testimonies.
many.
People at RV parks, getting touched, and
Yeah.
even I would go to there's a church there that there wasn't very many Kingdom churches at all, and there was some that was um, some of them was Kingdom minded, and some of them just they're open to it, and it's just I remember going to some of certain church there, and I remember praying for people, seeing them heal, and just imparting some wisdom to certain people. And that church, honestly, I had a dream a year and a half, 2 years before, about being on a certain campus. It was a powerful dream. It was about being immersed in the Spirit, and it was a campus in the dream. I don't want to talk about the dream fully because it was more personal for me. But I went on this men's encounter that they had there at that church, and through the it was at a different. It was through that church, but it was at a campus, some kind of campus looking place. Right when I got there, I knew because God brought that back to my attention like a week or two before, and I knew I was like, this dream is taking place right now, and it was amazing because the dream was a year and a half, 2 years before, and some of the ways that God spoke to me that week, the prophetic words, the way God spoke to me, and then people would confirm it. It was just amazing what God did that weekend, uh, and it did. It took me deeper. It really did, and it's so good. And um, I mean, I have a list of things just like in a notebook of the way God spoke to me, that just showing me things, and
Mhm.
so that was amazing. But that was a purpose. God wanted me there. He wanted us there
Mhm.
in North Carolina for
And
this
we didn't
season.
go there based on one dream. It was
No, it was
we
about a bunch of them.
prayed and words and all kinds of
Yeah.
things. Um, and so we just kept waiting for breakthrough, really. And I remember I got to the point where, like I said, nothing was working out. My hopes would get up here and they go poof, over and over again. And it finally got to the point where I was like, Lord, if you want us to stay in this RV for a couple more years, then if that's your will, that's fine. And it was like a week later, a door opened in East Tennessee. And you may be thinking, wait, Tennessee again? Yes, but East Tennessee. And we have
Yeah.
had,
We were only 30 minutes from the line.
yes, where we were in North Carolina was really close to Tennessee, East
Yeah.
Tennessee. And we have had dreams about East Tennessee since 2018. At least I have. Um, and so in North Carolina, the housing market is crazy and very expensive. Rent is at least $1,500 for an apartment. Um, you could pay $2,000 a month for a home, or more.
Yeah, we had no idea it was that high there.
No.
Um, but yeah.
And so what happened was we saw a piece of land for sale in East Tennessee, and it was at an excellent price. And Sean went to go look at it.
And there was somebody there with another realtor looking at it that day, and they had all kinds of looks in a matter of a week.
Yeah.
Week or two. It's about a week, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it was at a price that was way lower than pretty much anything we had looked at.
Oh yeah, especially across the line in
We had looked at North Carolina. We had looked right across the line, which is where this was. It's right across the line in East Tennessee, and I just knew I hadn't looked at it, and I was like, we have to buy it.
Yeah, she knew. Yeah, tell it. Go ahead.
Whenever we had looked at land in North Carolina, we looked at homes and stuff like that. I was always like, oh yeah, that would be nice. That would be good. That would work. We could have meetings here. We could do that. But whenever he was looking at this piece of land, he was like trying to tell me what might be wrong with it, what might not work out with our plans or whatever. And I was like, no, we have to buy it. I'm going to feel nauseous if we don't buy it. Like everything in me is, we have to buy it.
That's
like,
the Lord.
We have to put. I don't know.
And she didn't even see it. She just
compelled.
saw pictures. And when I saw it, I was like, what we had possibly thought about doing with it. I was like, I don't know if we can do that exactly.
It didn't make natural
But
sense.
I felt the Holy Spirit on it when I
Yes.
was walking, and I was like, especially for that price.
And when something doesn't make natural sense, but everything in you is saying do it, it's usually God.
So anyway, we put an offer on it, and he accepted it. And I think there was a possible offer.
And it was less than the asking price.
Yeah, and there was a possible offer coming in that evening, and he accepted ours right off the bat.
Yes.
And
we closed on it.
When I went to closing, I went to do the paperwork. That guy, I could tell, had some regrets. Like the guy selling it, he's like,
it's a beautiful piece.
He said, "I'm probably gonna regret this later." And after he walked off, the realtor looked at me. He goes, "That you did good." And but anyway, yeah.
I'm very, very happy. That was so the Lord. He's been so good to us, and on literally the same day we closed, we got the keys handed to us for a rental over here in East Tennessee that is also half the price of most rentals in the area.
Mm-hmm. And it's a
house.
It's a nice
trailer.
It's a trailer.
It's a
They
trailer.
redid the floors in here, in the kitchens, and
I
it's
guess the
got a
PC term is manufactured home.
yeah. They have a porch, front porch with a
It's
porch
over
swing,
it's over 900 square feet.
920,000, I think.
And when
And
you've been living in 2 to 300, this is like a mansion. It's huge.
yeah, 2 to 300.
Yeah.
This is huge compared to what we're used to.
Our kids,
But
they
it's
have
got
a
a
room.
it's got a ramp in the back, nice yard, nice neighborhood. You got apple tree.
Yeah, it's not in a trailer park. It's in a neighborhood.
It's a nice neighborhood too.
Yes, it's really nice. We're so blessed.
Carport.
Definitely the Lord.
Oh yeah.
Plenty of parking for people if we start having groups.
Great landlords.
Yes.
Couple.
And so God really worked everything out, just in His time. And so we're going to be living in this rental while we figure out what God wants us to do with the piece of land. Yeah, so some of the stuff that led
this is
to
amazing.
this.
Now this was Dream was how long ago? Like 3 years ago?
2018.
And this is amazing.
I had a dream that we were trying to sell our home because we were moving. And in the dream, that home was in a certain town. And the name of that town is now the name of our current landlord. And it is not a common name.
Mm-mm.
And as I was waiting in the dream, Sean was you were on the phone with your mom in the dream, and I was waiting for him to get off the phone. I looked over and I saw some Native Americans standing next to the house, and I didn't know what to think about it. But now, the piece of land we bought is right up against Cherokee National Forest.
It borders it on two sides.
So we have access to Cherokee National Forest through this piece of land.
And we actually had, I'll add this, the day we took off and left to go to Tennessee, we had a close friends of ours looked at us and said, I hear the Lord say pioneers over you guys.
Yes.
And go ahead.
You go.
The property,
excited.
has got, it had an old.
It used to have an old log cabin.
Log cabin on it, and it's pretty well gone. The only thing left of it is a fireplace, part of a fireplace chimney.
Yeah.
And then it's got a rock wall that's about 3.5 foot high, about 50 yards wide, and it's Civil War era is how old it is. And so they called us. They said, "I hear the word pioneer on you guys."
Yeah.
And so we got that property, and it's got that. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. And
but yeah, the Cherokee National Forest, Cherokee Indians in that dream coincide with the name of the landlord, with the name of where we were.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the way God speaks prophetically through dreams.
Yes.
And yeah, that's amazing. Because that dream was, I mean, she has a bunch of dreams. We both do.
But I've always remembered that one because it never really came to pass.
Yeah.
And it seemed important.
Well, there's so many dreams. I look back, a few months ago, I'm like, I had that dream. I forgot all about it.
Yeah.
But that one stayed with her is because the Lord was bringing it to her attention.
The way that dream ended, I saw arrows. The clouds in the sky were shaped like arrows, and they were pointing north. And I knew in the dream we had to go north. Okay, so in North Carolina, where we were at, we had to travel up 40 northwest to come here. Just like 40 years in the wilderness, the Israelites had to be. And I said it was a wilderness season. And there's also an area right around here called the Promised Land.
Yes.
It's not where we're living right now, but it's very, very close.
It's almost in between, isn't it?
It's kind of between where we're renting and where the piece of land is, it's only like is it like a 15-minute drive maybe?
It's probably
20-minute drive.
20-something.
This area called Promised Land is like between there. So it's kind of funny, the 40, the Promised Land, the wilderness season, it all just kind of makes sense.
And so, about the house, what we're doing here?
Well, I had a couple more dreams.
Okay, go ahead.
I also had a dream that we were living in somebody else's house, which makes sense because we're renting. I had a dream that I was looking for a safe place for us to stay in the dream. And I drove us to this area where there was a bunch of manufactured homes and Native Americans were living in them, and the chief came out to greet us, and I knew that we were safe there. And now we're thinking about putting a manufactured home on this piece of land that butts up to Cherokee National Forest. And so that makes sense with that being safe there. And I had a dream that we were where we were at in North Carolina, which was like a valley surrounded by mountains. And in the dream, an earthquake was happening, and the mountains were splitting in half. And there were people in covered wagons like pioneers. And I was sending them up 40 with people, and I was like, get them out of here. You got to get them to safety. And so we went up 40. And you've had a dream kind of similar to that with the mountains.
Yeah, right in North Carolina, you got mountains, and then you'll have like a flat place in between, and then it'll be a town. And what I saw in the dream, I saw these storm clouds coming, and you could see the part of the mountains on each side. And I was like, man, I said, well, we should be okay, because sometimes the mountains it'll protect you somewhat of bad weather. And I kind of assumed that in the dream, and I seen this tornado start to come down and started hitting the side of the mountain, starting to go down the mountain. I was like, I don't know. I said, I'm gonna get the kids out of here and go the other way, go across the line.
Go across the line to Tennessee.
And Alyssa, I said, I knew in the dream Alyssa was gonna come back with some superheroes and take it on, and I was like, oh, okay. But anyway.
Yeah, there's some principality stuff going on over there.
Oh yeah, it's yeah. I just leave it at
that. I also had a dream, whenever we told people that we were interested in ministering to the area between Knoxville and Asheville, the response I got probably 8 out of 10 times was, oh, Asheville really needs you. Oh, Asheville's really dark. Asheville. I never felt called to Asheville. I never had a dream about it, nothing. It was the area between Knoxville and Asheville, which is where we have stayed. We have stayed in that area between there. I had a dream that I was driving down a road and there was an exit to go west, and then if you kept driving, there was an exit to go east to Asheville. As I was driving, I knew I had to take the exit to go west, but suddenly a woman appeared in the back seat of the car in the dream, and she was begging me to disciple her. And I was like, what are you doing? Why are you in my car? This is so rude. Who do you think you are? You can't act like this. And because of her distracting me, I missed my turn. And she was like, oh, it's okay, just take the next turn, which was east to Asheville. And I was like, no, that's the wrong way. And I said, I'm going to pull over, you're going to get out of the car, and I'm going to go back to my exit. And that was the dream. And so I felt like that was the Lord saying, Asheville is a distraction. Yes, there are absolutely people that need discipled in Asheville, but that is somebody's assignment, and it is not my assignment. We're to go west, which is what we've done. And so
Peter was called to the Jews, Paul was called to the Gentiles.
We all have, yeah. And so the last one I wanted to mention was way back in the day, probably also 2018. I had a dream with a map in it, and this area of Tennessee was highlighted, specifically around Sevierville, which we are now about 30 minutes from. And there's people from JGLM there, and it's all just making sense. There's been tons of confirmations. The Lord has things that can't be coincidence. And so, yeah, I know I'm personally hearing from the Lord even clearer since being here. It feels like a weight or a fog or whatever has been lifted. It just feels better coming out of that season.
Yeah, and eventually we're going to want to do some, we'd like to do some home meetings here when we get settled completely. Yeah. And after that, honestly, I could see us doing a podcast in the future. We'll see about that.
It'd be fun.
But that's probably months down the road. But
if y'all are interested in that, let me know.
Yeah, if you're interested in us, me and her, we'd probably do it later at night.
Like we are right now.
Yeah, this is real late, but
we'll have equipment and lights, so
yes, we'll have a better equipment. We gotta get set up and stuff.
Yeah.
And
stuff takes time.
And we would love to do that, and maybe do it once a week or something on maybe a Facebook Live or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, do it like we're an hour ahead of Illinois people, so maybe do it at 11 o'clock at night or something like that. on the weekends or something.
But yeah, we want
So
to start meetings, and
yeah,
whenever we figure out exactly what the Lord wants us to do with the land that we bought, we will let you guys know and try and help y'all be a part of that too, because we want all of our friends and family to be a part of what the Lord's doing in our lives too.
yeah, yeah. It's amazing. So we're out of the RV.
We're out of the RV.
We're out of the RV.
I'm excited.
We
Like,
might
it
have
was
an RV
fun.
to sell. No.
It was fun in the summer. It was fun in the spring. It was fun in the fall. It was not fun in the winter.
I enjoyed it in
I
south of
enjoyed it
Nashville.
3/4 of the time.
Because there was a nice river right there. No.
But anyway,
So-
it was a good growing season, and it was good for all of us as a family. And now I'm glad we're in this season.
Yeah.
That's it.
Always when you're in a season like that, always just yield to the Lord and trust Him through all of it. And I'm telling you,
surrender.
you will come out so much closer to Him, and you will grow. You'll grow. A rubber band can't be fired unless it's stretched. So keep that in mind. So yeah, that's what God's doing in our lives right now, and that's where we're at. We got a place, we got some land.
We're not intentionally trying to keep quiet about things necessarily. We just, I don't know, it's not personally in my nature to constantly share everything. But I
Yeah.
want to, but at the same time, I just don't, I forget to remember.
We what was funny is we got the keys to this place
Mm-hmm.
and the land on Friday the 13th.
Yeah. Friday the 13th was very
Oh,
blessed
oh
for
my.
us this year.
God wants to redeem everything.
And He has. This is
Yeah.
I'm excited for what God is going to do, and we'll try and do a better job of keeping you guys updated about what is going on in our lives and what we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Sound good?
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, guys.